IGCSE Computer Science, Syllabus Statement 1.3.3i. Describe the principles of operation of touchscreens and describe how they are applied to real-life scenarios. So, touchscreens are basically devices which allow the user to interact by touching areas on a screen. So, most of your phones may be touchscreen, so that's an example of a touchscreen device. So I have some pictures here. So we're going to be looking at 3 different touchscreen technologies: capacitive, infrared, and resistive. And there are benefits and drawbacks to each of them. So yeah, we'll be looking at principles of operation of each system, the benefits and the drawbacks. So let's get started. So just a little introduction. Touchscreens are very common, and they're simple to use as they only require the user to touch the screen, which everyone can do because we use our hands in everyday life. So, you know. And as said, there are 3 major types of touchscreen. The first one is capacitive. So we have a description, advantages, and disadvantages. So capacitive touchscreen device is made up of multiple layers of glass, which act like a capacitor, creating electric fields between them. The electric current changes when the glass is touched, and the coordinates where it was touched is determined by a microprocessor. So examples of capacitive devices include like Apple iPhones and Samsung Galaxies. The advantages of capacitive devices is medium cost, good screen visibility in sunlight. There's multi-touch feature. You may notice that some of your smartphones you can multi-touch. And the screen is quite durable. Quite a large impact to break, but don't try it because I have friends who have broken screens. The only real disadvantage of capacitive is allows only the use of bare fingers and sometimes a stylus for input. Now, this might be considered an advantage actually because, well, you know, what else are you going to touch the screen with? Yeah, so it's not like you're, and also if it allows fingers only, then you can keep it in your pocket without having to worry about, you know, your pants having to touch the screen, which is quite annoying. But yeah, it's considered a disadvantage because you might want to touch the screen with some other stuff if need be. So a capacitive touchscreen device kind of looks like this rather. So there's the microprocessor, there's the screen, and electrostatic field caused by touching the screen, and coordinates are fed back. It's kind of like this. So there are 2 different types of infrared technology. There's heat sensitive and optical. So we'll look at both of these here. So both systems, both heat and optical, use glass as the screen. Heat sensitive uses a warm object as input, and the optical system uses an array of sensors, kind of like an invisible grid, and the point of contact is determined based on the grid coordinate touched. So examples of infrared devices include the Samsung U600 and the Samsung SGHE 900. Yeah, I did some research. Yeah. Advantages are multi-touch capability is permitted on both systems. The screen is quite durable, and the optical infrared system allows the use of bare fingers, gloved fingers, or a stylus for input. I guess it's one of the disadvantages of capacitive is if you have gloves on, you can't really use the phone. But infrared is quite expensive, and they only have fair screen visibility in strong sunlight, so it's kind of annoying how, yeah. And the heat-sensitive system allows only the use of bare fingers, Now, there's also one other thing. With the heat-sensitive system, if you're using a heat-sensitive device in cold weather, your fingers are cold, then it's not going to work if you try to touch your screen. So that's why heat-sensitive systems aren't really common. So the optical system kind of looks like this, if you were wondering. So the grids here, and yeah. Our final system or technology is resistive. So resistive phones have an upper layer made of polyester and a bottom layer made of glass. When the top layer is touched, it completes a circuit with the bottom layer. The signals are then sent to the microprocessor, which calculates the coordinates where the screen was touched. Now, examples of resistive phones are the LG Optimus and the Nokia N900. Again, research those. Advantages of resistive include it's quite inexpensive, allows the use of bare fingers, gloved fingers, or stylus for input. And of course, the disadvantages, there are always disadvantages. Poor screen visibility in strong sunlight. There is no multi-touch capability, and there's only fair screen durability. So the screen tends to be vulnerable to scratches and can wear out after some time. So if you're wondering what it kind of looks like, here's the top layer, here's the bottom layer, and when touched, it completes a circuit, and the microprocessor or controller determines the coordinates from that.